We have to be united on everything.
No.
All the time.
No, not everything, not all the time.
In front of the children, we do.
No, and listen, those little... Not in front of the kids. Hi. Mommy and Daddy were just having a little discussion. Mended light. Okay, so this is Therapists Say, where we ask you, the viewer, for crap advice that you've got from a therapist. And this one actually, on the surface of it, is pretty good. On the surface, and as a broad rule, you have to be united in front of the children. I think that's pretty good advice. And here's why. Children we think they're innocent and sweet, and they are manipulative, conniving little buggers.
Somewhere in between innocent and sweet and manipulative, conniving.
It's all there in the mix. But children want what they want, and they will get it however they can. And
some children.
All of our children. So I've got a sample size of 5 that says is all children. No, but a lot of children. And so what means do they go about to get what they want? Well, one thing is parent shopping, right? I've got one parent in one room, another parent in another room. I go to one, I ask them if I can do something. I don't like the answer they give me, so I go to the other one, and I get the answer that I want. And then I get to say, Dad said that I could do this, and now the parents are having strife. Or the other...
Well, and typically the parent doesn't know that the child asked the other parent first, right? So then the conversation comes together.
And typically the chump parent, the easy mark, is me. And you're the one who says, I told him no, and I'm like, oh. Anyways, so that is parent shopping. And then there's something called splitting, which is our parents are in the same place at the same time, and I am persuading one of them to side with me and to take pity and mercy on me. So the other one has to be the bad guy and put their foot down. And now my parents, there's conflict between them because one of them wants to give me what I want, and the other either has to yield or be the bad guy.
It's like a battlefield out there. You need to have a united front.
Well, I think unity is important. I think letting kids know that they can't shop, that they can't split is important. And for example, if you're giving a consequence or you're parenting in a way that I disagree with, unless it's abusive, I'm not going to disagree with you in front of the kids.
Right.
In cases of abuse, I think that matters because the kids need to see that you're going to stand up for them. But if it's not abusive, hey, like let's say you give a consequence I disagree with, and our son's like, Dad, and I'll be like, you heard your mom. Because I'm going to go behind closed doors and I'm going to say, I don't think this is the right call and here's why, right? Or vice versa, in which case we regroup and we come out united and we say, we discussed it and here's what we're going to do now, right? There is value in that. But it can be taken to an extreme, right? If we always have to be united, then our kids don't have the opportunity of witnessing healthy communication, navigating a difference of opinion, even resolving conflict in a positive way.
Right. Well, and so making sure that you're doing that with the little things, the little conflicts, would be the place to do that, right? To model that behavior. If there's a drastically different set of opinions and it's like, no, we really need to dig into this and decide what that united front looks like, those aren't the best conversations to have in front of the children because they don't understand.
Especially if the conversation's going to get heated or nasty. Right? Which happens in every marriage from time to time. I also think that it's important. Do we disagree on something that is organic, or do we disagree on something that a child has brought to us? Because if our children are witnessing us having a disagreement about something that they didn't bring to us, then they've got a front row seat to us working through a difference, right, and finding a common ground or what we're going to land on. So there's no manipulation there. There's no, I'm going to pit one parent against the other to get what I want. Whereas if a child brings it to us and we disagree, I think that's hey, we are going to discuss this as a team.
Right.
And then we're going to come...
Without an audience.
Without an audience, and we're going to let you know what we want to do with this situation. And so while I do think unity is important, there's got to be a balance. They've got to see that, because they're going to go through their life, and if they just think, well, I can only be unified with someone who sees the world like I do, that's not a healthy perspective.
And a dynamic worth bringing up is typically, not always, but you have one parent that's more lenient, more easygoing, maybe more fun-filled, and another parent that's more rigid and concerned about rules.
It has to be the disciplinarian.
Right.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a seesaw, right? The lenient parent sees the other parent as harsh or overly harsh, so they become more lenient.
Yeah.
And then they get more lenient, so the harsh parent is like, now I really have to, be the bad guy.
Or strict, if we don't want to use the word harsh. But yeah, you're going to be the fun parent, and I'm going to be the strict one. And then the strict one tends to resent the other one.
Right.
And the more strict I get, the more lenient they get. And the more lenient they get, the more strict I get to compensate. And we just go polarized more and more and more.
Right. Well, and there are dynamics where it's like the parent's not always right. And maybe they are too strict and maybe they are too harsh. I had a family member where she wasn't allowed to wear makeup. Like, she's a teenager and, teenagers wear makeup, and he really disliked women wearing makeup, and he didn't want his wife to wear makeup, and I guess she was okay with that because she didn't wear makeup. But when his teenage daughter, who's like 16, 17 years old, wants to wear mascara or eyeliner, like, it was a big point of conflict. And so she's not really a pushover.
The daughter or the mom?
The daughter.
Yeah.
The daughter's not really a pushover. So she kind of just did what she wanted. But, there was definitely an aspect because that's how strict he was, right? About
her dad, yeah.
About clothes and about makeup and about who her friends were. And she was not the type to be controlled. So she mostly did what she wanted. But there was a dynamic where she hid things from her dad. She didn't hide things from her mom. And, it all played out, and they're all wonderful, well-adjusted adults. But, I would say that's a dynamic where it's like, as the parent, reevaluate your stance and decide what's really important. Of course, we all still have agency, but the parent's not always authoritatively right.
Right. Well, and this, I think, is where it comes to a weekly couples meeting is a great idea. It's a great idea for so many reasons, guys. But one of them is that you could talk about, hey, this is the approach I want to take parenting this child. What are your thoughts on that? And what are your needs as a parent and your views on how we should handle this situation? Where when you are meeting once a week as a couple and talking about the needs of the family, that you can work through things, just the two of you, before the situation even arises, or in preparation for the next time the situation arises. Because oftentimes the biggest conflicts come when we're trying to think on our feet and we feel like our partner doesn't have our back. But our partner has a different viewpoint, and we didn't take the time to navigate it and land on a mutual place. We didn't take the time to land on a place of mutual understanding beforehand. And so that is key. That's crucial.
Absolutely. It's also important to recognize there are challenging moments with children, right? And we have a child that his personality type is particularly challenging for you,
yes,
right?
It is. No, because he reminds me of the kids that gave me a hard time when I was a kid. And so it brings up a lot of past stuff for me.
Yeah, because he's that type of personality. And so when you're kind of done with him, you're kind of maxed out by his shenanigans, and I relate a little bit more to him.
Well, because you've got a naturally aggressive personality type.
Right. So I can see like the struggle he's going through to express himself in a healthy way, when to you it kind of looks like just mean. Right.
Yeah.
And it's not that either one of those things are right or wrong. They're both just perspectives. And so me saying to you in those moments of like, you're having a hard time interacting with him in a healthy way, very understandably, I'll say, hey, do you need me to take care of this? Hey, do you want me to handle this?
Yeah.
And most of the time you're like, yes. Yes, I do.
Well, and part of being united is also respecting that your partner's going to do things a little bit differently than you do. And so when you come in, you're handling him differently than I would, and that's okay. Part of unity is difference. It's respecting that difference. It's not we are the same and we're going to do everything the exact same way. It's, hey, you're on shift, you got this. It's like lucha libre, right? Like I'm tagging out, you're tagging in, and your style's going to be a little different, and that's okay. So this is the therapists say. Another piece of crappy advice that therapists have given our fans is, hey, just see where it goes.
See what happens.
Yeah, don't have a plan. Don't have anything mapped out. Just kind of let it play out naturally when it comes to a relationship. There is value in that, but there's also danger. We're going to explore it right here. Right here? I don't know where the video is. Everywhere. When it comes to your kids, how do you show up united? What are your struggles with this? What crap advice have you got from a therapist that you'd like us to respond to? Let us know in the comments below.
And remember to keep shining. We need your light.
Twinkly.
Maybe it shows up as jazz hands.
Shine your light. Oh, there's the video. Watch it.